pleasure of introducing our Teacher of the Year. For those of you who don't know him, Mr. Zausin has been a teacher here at MacArthur for 14 years. For those of you who do, he probably taught you about ionic and covalent bonding, or is a little too excited to help you out with a titration problem. I do not believe that I'm only speaking for myself when I say that Mr. Zausin has been one of the greatest positive influences on my experience at MacArthur over the past 4 years. From his humble beginnings at Zausin's Bakery, he's become a successful baker and bread connoisseur, and will never fail to share with his students his latest recipes. But his true skills are honed as a chemistry and science research teacher. I'm not sure that anyone else could make feeding hard-boiled eggs to live organisms such an exhilarating experience. He is constantly quick with a pun or telling a corny joke that fills the room with laughter the way only he can. Other students have gone on to describe him as dedicated, inspiring, the living embodiment of a dad joke, the best, and my absolute favorite teacher. On behalf of the senior class, National Honor Society, and all MacArthur students, I would like to thank him for all the endless ways he's made our high school days just that much better. Now I finally introduce the creator of Matt's Alternative Playlist, the person who deals with the most of my incessant complaining, and a person truly worthy of the title Teacher of the Year, Mr. Zausin.
Thank you. You know, it's funny you mentioned my Matt's Alternative Playlist. A student today, just out of nowhere, sent me an email that I hadn't heard from the student in over 10 years. And he said, you know, hey, how's it going? Here's what I'm up to in life now. And, you know, thanks for being a great teacher. And I always remember, quote, jamming out to your fantastic music in class. All right? So, you hear that now? I expect that email from you in 10 years, all right? So, second year. What an honor it is to be standing here tonight as Teacher of the Year. What a crazy journey it has been. I started teaching 16 years ago in another school district. At the end of my first year, after receiving great observations all year and my students performing well on the chemistry regions, my mentor decided that she was not happy with me and told the science director to get rid of me. This is all true. I was then called into the director's office, berated for a good 40 minutes, to the point that the assistant director was in tears, told that maybe teaching wasn't for me, and I should probably find a new profession. However, for some reason, out of the kindness of her heart, she would allow me to come back for a second year. In retrospect, I realized that second year was meant for gathering information and evidence against me. And boy, was that a rough year. At the start of my second year, I was told that I was not allowed to enter my classroom before the bell, even though it was vacant. Also, I was no longer allowed to use the office in the back of the classroom. Instead, they set up a new luxurious accommodations for me down the hall. A rickety metal cart was placed in a storage closet. That was my new office. The director would come into my room unannounced frequently and then berate me some more afterwards, and that became a pretty common routine. Once I realized the end result was inevitable, like Thanos snapping his fingers, there would be no third year for me in that school. It was actually quite liberating. I focused on doing my job to the best of my ability, regardless of the obstacles that were put in my way. I was confident that I was doing a fine job. The students seemed happy. They seemed to be learning chemistry. I felt like they liked me and enjoyed being in my class. To me, these were pretty good metrics for my performance, regardless of what I was being told. The students even enjoyed when I put on a Viking helmet, yelled out, "Fire!" made a huge fireball, and evacuated the entire building. Don't worry, Mr. Sheehan, I retired that Viking helmet long ago. When April rolled around, I was called into the director's office once again, and I was told that I would not be invited back the following year because I hadn't experienced enough professional growth. No surprise there. Then, the end of the year came rolling around. Final exams, chemistry regents came and went. As it turned out, my 4 regular chemistry classes happened to have the best results in the entire 2 high school district, better than any other chemistry teacher's students. Not a single one of my students failed the exam. Thank you. The principal of that building even came up to me, shook my hand, congratulated me on my great results. I managed to smile, say thank you, and walk out of that district for the last time, feeling very proud of myself, but uncertain about my future as a teacher. That summer, I received a call from the one and only Paul Ryan to come in for an interview at MacArthur High School. They had a chemistry position open. I hadn't even applied for a position there, but somehow they found my name. So I said, absolutely. The next day, I left my house on Zausin Court. Yes, I live on a road named after myself. Long story, but there's a reason. I walked into MacArthur High School for the first time, sat down across from Paul and Joan Lorelli, and Joan said to me, I have 2 questions. How did you get a street named after yourself? And how did you get 100% passing on the chemistry regents? And the rest is MacArthur history. So, the moral of this story is that no matter what you do, how hard you work, and how much you try to do what you think is right, things aren't always going to work out. Everything isn't always going to be great, but at some point, it will be. Life can hit you with some serious punches, but you always have to get back up and keep pushing forward. As long as you keep fighting, things will eventually work out, just maybe not in the way you expected. But that's life. All of the things that happened to me on my journey helped to make me into the person, the husband, the father, and the teacher that I am today. And more importantly, my journey brought me here, to MacArthur High School. So to each of you students, your journey is about to take you beyond MacArthur High School. You're going to enter college, start a job, and be at the bottom of the hierarchy, a little fish in a big pond. Life is going to beat you up sometimes, but that's okay. Learn from it, grow from it. Always keep fighting, keep pushing forward. Push through everything life throws at you. And one day, you look around and realize that you're exactly where you want to be. I know I am. Thank you.